So today I thought I'd go on for a bit. I was feeling a little bit anxious today. I don't know why. I think it's just like because I don't do this every day, then I get nervous and then I don't want to turn it on. But I should really start working on that. And I say that every time. Anyways, so what should I talk about? My plan is I want to make a meat pie, but I don't really have a recipe for it. I just have steak that I did not eat yesterday, leftovers, and then like a bunch of like this veggie mix that I usually put in stew. So if I put those together with seasonings, I think it would turn out really good. And then just put it in the pie. And then, what else? I made my own like homemade pie crust recipe. I will not share that secret on this thing, but essentially I like called up my grandma and was like, "Hey grandma, how are you? How you doing? How's life? Awesome. Can I get the recipe for pie crust because I forgot it. I'm an idiot and I didn't write it down properly and I lost it, so therefore I don't have it. But can I have it again?" And then she gave it to me. So that's what I kind of did this like during the afternoon, is I made the pie crust and then I made an apple pie, which was really good. So good. It was so good. So I took that and then decided that that was going to be the thing. Also, I don't know, do I add cheese? So it'd be like steak. The veggie mix is carrots, celery, onions. Then with like the ketchup and the stock, I think it'd be really good. And then add cheese. I do not know. But let me look. I'm also like kind of eating these. I made biscuits yesterday. I've just kind of been like snacking on them. This was my breakfast, but I'm really bad at like focusing on eating breakfast, you know? Like I'll eat it and then halfway through I'm like, oh, I should probably do something else, and then I get distracted and I stop eating. So it's there, but 1 second. Oh. I was like looking for this, and that is where it went. But hello viewer, how are you today? I'm just chilling. I hope you're having a great day. We're gonna like attempt to make meat pie, even though I don't have a specific fill recipe, but I do have a pie crust recipe, so we're gonna work off that. We're gonna use this space. I think this angle is really good so far. It's different from the last one, but I think it'll work. And also you can see the things. But you probably won't be able to see, actually, if I did it here, maybe. It's a great question for myself. How will I do the thing? Also, I realized today when I was making the pie crust that I don't have one of those rollers. Gotta buy one, but I don't want to buy one right now. So I've been using a jar and like just probably doing a jar that way. So I think that'll be fine. But first you want to like put the oven on for 365. That's how I do it. Just to heat it up, and then when you actually put in the pie, you're gonna have to change it. So it's just a little good reminder. I hope my pie crust is still a little too like cold. So I'm gonna let it sit on here for a bit and chill out. And then put this in the oven already. On top of the other ones. I should really find a place for those, but I just keep putting them back in the oven. We are going to be using this as our pie holder. It is more, what's the word, like, it's pretty deep. It's like a deep dish. Could make deep dish pizza, but not today. So it'll be like a deep dish, meaning that I actually have to be more aware of the portions itself, and then when I figure out the portions, things will get way easier. Not worried, not stressed, it'll be fine. Made a trial pie. I did a trial pie, and that was pretty good. It turned out really well. It just needed more filling because it was dense, and it was a dense, like, holder. So other than that, I think it's okay. We just do it again, see what comes out of it, go from there. Hi, Tap. Tappy's outside of the room today. She's very about exploring the place. I love seeing her, like, excited about going and checking out the things, because sometimes she gets in a rut and then stays in my room for most of the time. But I love it when I see her curious. It makes me feel a lot better. And it also makes it seem like she's a lot younger. So that's good. Hi, love. Come here. Can I pick you up? Okay. And she ran away. And I probably ruined that moment. But who cares? Yeah, it's awesome. We're gonna do pie. I assume that this is way too much pie crust for one, but that is alright. We will build into it and figure it out from there. I made this steak yesterday, but then I didn't end up eating it. So I feel like if I put it in a pie, then I'll like it more, and I'll eat it a lot more. So that's kind of what I was hoping. Also because when you just let something sit in the fridge for too long, it goes bad. So I'd rather just finish it up right now and see what I can do with it, and then put it out. When you're working with pies, make sure that you always flour everything. So like the bottom of whatever you're going to mold it on, and then also put it on top of the pie crust while you're shaping it. And then you want to put it on your roller, but I don't have that roller, so I'm going to use the thing that I was using, which is this. My roommate gave me this idea because I did not think this through at all when I was making it. And then I was finishing the first pie, and I was starting the first pie, and then I was just like, oh shit, how am I supposed to shape it? And then she told me this trick, so that's what I started doing. Ugh. So yeah, I'm really excited. And then the question is do I add a cover or do I keep it open? I think I'll add a cover onto it. I just want to make sure that I have enough, enough food and enough filling to start off with. When you're doing the crust and you're flattening it out, you don't want it too thick, but you also don't want it too thin. I don't know how to fully explain it. When I get back to that texture, I'll show you. You want to make sure it's stretched out nice and good so it covers the whole surface of the container. Yeah, not thin like paper. How would I say it? Thicker than construction paper. I know that's different, but make sure it's stuck in there. Right now it'd be cool to have one of those overhanging cams, but that won't work currently. such a weird time. Didn't mean to make it into a rush hour time and just ended up that way. Cool. So it's pretty thin. I'll try and like pick it up without, well, you want to pick it up without ripping it. It should be enough where you don't need to. But it's like a thin amount, and you kind of just lay it into your casing, right? You don't need to put butter on the casing. Well, I can't say that for anybody else because this is a specific recipe, and with my recipe I don't have to, but I also know that like I can't just say that because everyone will have their own way of handling a pie. She's like obsessed with these shoes that I got recently, so she's just freaking out about it. Okay. I want to make sure, and because it's like a deeper container, you really want to be careful with your thinness, and especially the way you like drop it back into the pie casing, because you don't want to like ruin it and rip it. But also, like, you don't want it so thick that it doesn't cook properly on the inside. Cool. Then get yourself one of these knives and slowly just take away the extra. You gonna try and get up here? That's crazy. I will show you. Oh my god, Taffy, look at you. Just so crazy. Trying to jump up? What a funny cat. And now me trying to figure out how I put this. Cool. We're back. And she did jump up actually. Okay. So, pie. Crust. Perfect. Great. Just right in here. Amazing. Deep dish pie. I would suggest to use an actual pie crust, a pie tray. I am using just what I have. Well, yeah, you could totally do what you have. It's just a matter of like understanding the cooking ratio and the liquid ratio. You have to be really careful with pies and how much liquid you put in. Especially when it comes to pies with like fruit or like these types of pies where, how to explain it? Like when I do pies, there's a point where you can cook the crust first and then you put the stuff in, which that I only do when it's like a cream pie or like something you're not really cooking. You're just putting cream in it, or the peanut butter pies, which are like the frozen pies. Where the crust is already hard and you just add the stuff into it. That's usually like when you cook the pie by itself first, like the shell. But we're not doing that. We're cooking pie based off of, we're cooking pie where it's like you could put it in the oven and then have all the stuff in it and it will like cook out really good. But yeah, there is no reason to really need to do a pre-bake. The only thing I find like a bit, and like that's also why you don't have like watery interiors with your pies, because it will ruin it while the cooking stage happens. So yeah, that's what I would suggest if you're going to do this. Again, it's just a matter of like what your recipe of pie crust consists of. I cannot give away my secret, I am sorry. This is a special pie recipe, I cannot do that. But yeah, so I'm gonna like cut up all the leftover steak I have, and then start sauteing all of the veggies. But yeah, viewer, I hope you're having a good day and you're just like hanging out and chilling. Nothing too crazy going on. It is kind of later in the day. I'm not used to doing it this late. Do I want to use cooking? No, I don't. Yeah, I don't usually do it this late. I think it was just because, yeah, again, I was like having major anxiety today, this morning, and then I started baking stuff and I was like, I don't really want to go on. But then I was like starting to cook dinner and thought, you know, just stay on for a little bit, see what happens, come up with it, and see how it turns out. But yeah. Let's take the steak and let's cut it up into small pieces. I'm just checking to see if it's still, yeah, that's good. It's literally only 24 hours old, so it's not bad. You just want to cut it up into pieces, so then you have a ton to choose from after. Hi, Tappy. You just checking everything out? Very thin, tiny pieces. I think that would like be way easier to get it all around the pan, or like all in throughout the pie. But yeah. This steak, oh, hello. How are you? I'm making pie. Welcome. Sorry, I should not be whacking this thing around. How are you today? You're very, exciting. That's a creeper, right? I'm thinking creeper. Yeah, it is. I'm making meat pie. Well, attempting to. I'm not doing it based off a recipe. I'm doing it based off of stuff I have left over and seeing where that comes up. But, how are you? How are you doing? It's been a while. I'm like cutting up steak right now because I've planned to do a meat pie. And doing it based off of in my head compared to what I remember of how to do this. And just woke up and oh, hi. Well, welcome. We cook here, we hang out, and we like talk about things. Usually I do art, but like I just wanted to try something different. But this is the pie so far. It's a deep dish pie. I used a homemade recipe for the pie crust, but I am not sharing that secret at all. But yeah. Me trying to figure out what any of these mean, but I love the emojis anyways. No, I'm doing steak, like a stew based kinda. So I had a lot of leftover cherry pies and favorite. That's pretty good. I made apple pie today, but this morning. But I thought I would do a steak pie. But you're right, cherry pie is fucking good. Unless you're making innuendo, which also I'd be down for. I like that. But yeah, I'm like have leftover steak, so I'm cooking it up, and I'm gonna add like a bunch of veggies in and see where that goes. Because at the end of the day, cooking is way easier than baking, and I could get away with a lot more shit than I can with baking. So here's all the steak, the little steaks cut up. True. And also, make sure that the pie is like really warm. Oh, thank you! Thank you for the follow. That's awesome. Thank you. Yeah, but like, gotta go hot. Like, hot cherry pie, add that ice cream on top, perfect. And it always has to be like a vanilla or basic or like Cool Whip. Do you know Cool Whip? That shit's good on pie. So, I understand what you're saying. I get you. Do you just like go around and see new people? Is that your thing? Do you like that? I can understand that too, being, yeah, like a vanilla. No, you're right. Because I was going to say, like, I could see the fact that more people are going to like smaller creators, but also like, it's always more curious to understand. Yeah, okay, yeah, that's your thing. I like that. We need more of that. Oh, what? It's, it got like asterisk, so I don't know what the fuck he said. But that's kind of cool. We need more of you. We need more people like you to just go around and check things out. But thanks for the follow, too. That's really awesome. You can also check out my, links page if you want. Oh, it's me, bad. I know that's your name, sorry. It's just there's like a lot of asterisks. I don't know what you're saying that's inappropriate for the chat. Or unless it's like unable to tell you. Sorry, now I'm getting distracted. Now we're gonna use heat, which is spooky. So we'll see how that goes. Mix all the veggies together, and then my plan is, okay, I'm going to mix all the veggies together and cook them in the pile. Then I'm going to take them off. Oh, thank you. One sec. I'll mention that in a second. But, game plan. Cook the veggies. Take the veggies off. Cook the steak with the garlic. Boom. Put it all together with the sauces in the thing, and it's perfect. But thank you. That is my cute, fluffy hat. My cunty hat. I love that hat. I wear it when it's cold out, and when I want to look really rich as hell. It was a gift from my grandmother, so I choose to. It was a very beautiful gift, and I was not expecting it, and I also did not think that was my style, but now it is, I guess. But, thank you. It's super, like, fluffy, and it's so soft on the ears, too, which is the best part about it. Makes me very excited. Do you have a favorite current song that you're really interested in, or like that's stuck in your head right now? Mine's like anything off of the Jetty record at this point. Been a little bit obsessed with it. Me trying to cook but not really good at cooking. That's not bad. I could totally work with that. That's enough, maybe. Too much? My ratios are really scary because I haven't done anything with such a deep dish. But I can't tell if I'm doing too much or too little. Last time I went too little, now I gotta go more. But then if you cook more and it does not turn out good, then you're kind of fucked there too. And I'm not trying to do that. And then you'll have like all this extra stuff and then you don't know what to do with it. So I'm just trying to make sure that I don't overdo it. Because I have like it's not the too much gene. It would have to be like everything besides the actual appropriate amount. But yeah. So we're just going to try and see how this works. But yeah. I will be honest, I didn't start cooking until I moved out of home. And am I good? That's a good question. Or if I'm good at it. I have like certain dishes I'm really good at. But I will say, working on doing baking the past few days, way better cook. Way better. And also you can't fuck around when you're doing baking, which kind of is annoying. But we're getting there. We're figuring it out. Do you have like a favorite Oh yeah, what would be like your favorite dinner dish? Like what's your favorite thing to eat for dinner? That'd be a good question. I think mine has to be like mac and cheese or shepherd's pie. I love burgers. I love rice balls. That's more of a lunch. I love food, which is kind of a given. But yeah. So I'm kind of just trying to heat these up, and then I'm going to leave a space in the middle, add butter. I'm going to start doing the garlic and the beef and the seasonings as well. And I will like say most of my cooking definitely comes from my grandma compared to anybody else. That's kind of where I started gaining my skill set, my love for cooking, because she was just so good at it. She was just like, could do anything so simple, and it was so like so rich. And it's hard to get rich foods, but the things that she did with food is insane. Now it's a bit different. As you get older, it's harder to do certain things, which I understand. Also, you get like insane dietary requirements. But I don't know. There's something always was just so good about that type of food, and like also getting to learn. And my grandmother, she's very like Hungarian, so you would get all those really good like European foods and learn how to cook. And like cabbage rolls are one of my favorites when it comes to her cooking, or just like that type of style of food in general. Love it. I get very into it. And making cabbage rolls is so fun because it's like it's a thing you do with people. Like it's one of those like types of cooking where you also like are with a community and you're making it together, kind of like pickling. And I love pickling too. But yeah, that's just like such good moments and such good learning experience, just being surrounded by cooks and they're just making these freaking cabbage rolls like gods, and you're just like watching them, and it's like they'll teach you everything you want to know, and it's amazing. Also, I don't think that you should do this, but I did anyway, just to like make up the moisture content, especially now that it's on a higher cooking frequency and we are mixing in seasonings. You want to make sure that it really like sits into the food as a whole instead of random. But I'll show you. Come with me to the oven. Pretty good, pretty good. Not bad. It needs a bit of water and it needs ketchup. And then I think it's pretty much settled and ready to go. And then just putting it in the oven. But yeah, so what my plan is, so loud. Gotta get that fixed at some point. So what I'm gonna do is I have this water, right? It's a cup, about a cup of water. I'm gonna mix in a bunch of this broth, like chicken broth. Do the little whisk, make sure it's all mixed in there, and like dissolve. This is when you get the frickin' cubes, because this is way too much work. But, and then you pour it in, just to create a more of, like a more moisture into it without trying to overwater it. And then it also helps because you can mix in the ketchup without it being like super dry and before it like kind of burns. Because when you just add in ketchup for no reason on a hot pot thing, it's going to be a bit of a mess. So don't do that. Stick to putting in a bit of water if you have to, and then mix it all in so it becomes like this really nice soupy consistency. And then in a bit add some flour, make sure it's all like tight, and then it'll be perfect. And just keep that up on a higher status. So I put it on a 7. And then get rid of everything and clean up, and then we'll go from there. I could eat a piece of pie right now, the pie that I made, or I'll wait. No, I'll eat those like little things that I made. And then the question is do I add cheese? Do I want cheese? Will cheese bring something to the dish, or will it make it worse? That's a good question. Hello, Taffy, my love. That's where I'm like, what do I do next? Add a bit of garlic powder because there wasn't enough garlic. And I'm a person who likes garlic in my food. And then, perfect. Now we wait until it gets a bit more gooey and thick and less watery, and make sure it's all like cooked in, and then it'll be fine. What I will do, which I don't recommend, but I'm gonna put my cutting board on, just to like keep the heat in and to make it more consistent. But yeah, I thought this would be way longer than it did, but it's actually going really easy and really fast. It's just about like the baking part that's gonna take a while, and then we could find something to do and talk and hang out for a little bit, and then we could try it. But yeah, it's pretty simple. Like I said, cooking's way easier than baking. You need to be really careful with it. Ow! That was so dumb. That was so funny, but dumb. Okay, it's pretty good. I'm gonna take that same... I'm going to take this same thing, I'm going to scoop some of the water out of it. Ooh, it's actually getting like really thick actually. Maybe I don't need that and just leave it for a minute. Or sprinkle it in slowly. This is when I should be grabbing the cornstarch, but I don't want to grab it. I'll just do it this way. But the whole point of doing this, like adding a bit of flour into your wet mix, is just to like make it more thick, like the water content way more thick, and more of like a gravy in a sense, because when you're doing it, you don't want to put liquids in your cooking, like in your pie, because then it'll go bad and then you'll have a really wet, soggy pie. Yeah, that's good. Let me just... Yeah, no, it's great. It has a bit of a high sugar content, which I don't know how that came, but it's probably from the ketchup. So add a tiny bit more salt. It should be good to go. And just let it cook for a bit longer. And then you got it. Ooh, actually, what would be really good in this? Rosemary. Like a tiny bit of rosemary. Now, did I ruin it just by doing that? Maybe, but we will see. And then I'll show you a close-up of what the pie will look like. Cool. Okay. Now we have the pie. You want to make sure that the oven is on for 365. Start it up, see what's going on. And then put the mix in the pie. Cool, 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 cool. Nice. Nice. Good job. Next, we just have to put a top on the pie, and then we pretty much got it done. I think I have too much dough for this, but we will see. All the rest can go in the freezer anyway, so it doesn't matter. Cool. Nice. Let's get some flour. Always flour it, just because it will get stuck, and it's a nightmare when it gets stuck. Cool. And then you flour the top of it. Nice. And then you grab your thingy, your roller. This is my roller right now. Cool. If you want to see the other pie I made today, you should check out my Instagram on my links. I think you might get a lot, that has like all of my other stuff, and I put a reel about it because it was a really good pie. Like, I feel like when you make something really good, you should always share it, and or even when it's not good, just share it. Be like, yeah, I did this thing, I tried my best, might not be perfect, I might not be really good at this, but at least you tried. And the thing about cooking is if you constantly try, at some point you'll get good at it. It's just a matter of time when you figure it out. Okay, pie back. Let's put this pie on the top. See right here. Cool. Works out pretty good. Let's just pack it in there onto the sides. Oh my god, like a cam coming from like up would be so good right now, but I don't have that. Nice. And I did not add cheese, which that's okay. You don't need to. I just had the cheese just in case if I wanted to add the cheese, but I don't think I will. And just make sure you have a little bit of overhang, just so then it does, because it will shrink, like pie does shrink. Cool. Nice. And then I had a fork, didn't I? Fork. And we just put on the sides, make sure that it matches. Just flatten it out. And amazing. Here's the pie. Pretty thick on there, pretty great. Interior tastes pretty good on the inside. And now you just like put it in the oven. You heat the oven at 365, but immediately when you put the pie in, you want to move it back to 350. And then you want to time it for about 40 minutes and then check up on it. and then you see how far that ends up going. But yeah, that's pretty fun. Pretty simple. I am really hungry now because I can smell it. And it's making me very hungry. But I will wait because I have to. Freezer pie. Cheese back in the fridge. For reference, I didn't use an actual like pie tray. I ended up using one of those baking, what are they called? They're like cheese holders, like a cheese cook thing that you put in into the oven. You put like brie cheese in it and then you cook it. That's what I ended up using. Just because I like recently bought it and it was really cute and like it's perfectly sized. So I was just like, I might as well use that instead. Let me do this. And then you kind of just wait and see until it gets ready, and then that's it. So we'll hang out here until the pie is ready. Maybe I'll go get my crochet stuff. I don't know. Or we could just talk and hang out. Something I've been doing recently is I kind of said this last time. I've been going back and like looking at old journals from the past 4 years and taking things and like picking parts that I really like so I could like put it into like a book. But it's really interesting how the writing changes so drastically throughout the years, and also like some of the stuff that I was thinking about is so whacked. But I love it. Cause like I wrote those during like this massive awakening and like was working through my mental health and like all my stuff. So it's really cool to go into it and like be like, oh, I thought this before, but now I think something else. Or like this book kind of references these types of notes that I have and like how I did things. And I don't know, I find that really cool. But yeah. Dude, I gotta spend like 40 minutes trying to figure out what to do now. Waiting for this pie to finish. How exciting. But yeah, so it's been like weird but cool in a way to like look back. Weird to read it because you're like, oh my god, I've completely changed. I am so weird. Yeah. Also now I'm starting to realize that like, why is it I can have a normal conversation here but I can't have normal conversations with people? Like I feel like I'm functioning normally here, but I am terrified to act and like to function this way when it's like anybody like very serious. And then I like default a little bit and just like go into a weird mindset or like a weird headspace, like think differently or like talk differently. Like it just becomes like nothing in the back of my head immediately when I start to get terrified of something or like terrified of talking to people in an intimate scenario. So I think it's really funny here. I could just talk about whatever and it'll be okay. Like I'm doing okay with it. It's very funny. Nothing crazy happening. And that's what living in the city is like. And I very much miss the outdoors and nature and not having all these loud noises or having my building shake every 20 minutes. Yeah. The perfect scenario would be like, how do I always dream about it? Like I was a kid that would like never really dream about the big things in life. Like I'm a girl, so I'd always get questioned about like weddings or like what the crazy wedding would be like or all that shit. I was never one to really think about that. But do you know, I always think about like where I would want to live. And I feel like it's just in a place in the middle of nowhere with a lot of vast land. in a lake so I could go fishing without having to have a license. Because I wouldn't eat the fish, I would put it back. I just like to fish and like sit there for hours and like not talk. That's like one of my favorite things. So yeah, I always like imagine my house to be like a house in the middle of a field with a lot of land and like pretty chill, kind of living off the land in a way and just minding my own business. And I don't even care what the house looks like. I just like want that. I guess I'd want something with like a lot of windows, or like with windows that have really good sun. Because what did they say, like the south sun? Yeah, this is like a south sun right now. South and west, isn't it? Or is it east facing light? South facing light, west facing light. West facing light would go this way. Anyways, I don't know what it is, but I would want one of those, like the high brightness coming through my windows. I have it here in my apartment, but it's a little bit complex because my apartment's like right on a main street, and if I'm not careful, people can see exactly right into it, which I didn't realize was actually a problem until recently because I keep getting reminded by somebody about it. Which is good. It's good to have somebody who like is watching out for you in that way, in ways that you're not even thinking. Crazy. Never thought that would happen. But yeah, I don't know. It's kind of wild. The worst part about this all is dishes after. And I kind of got like flour all over me. But yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's maybe because like I grew up in a small town, not really small town, but like you had all of the backroading and like really good nature. Now not so much. It's been so overly developed nowadays that it's like you don't get that anymore. So I guess I crave that the most. Just like the quiet peacefulness of it and like just having your own vast space where nobody could really like, where like people wouldn't be able to really reach it because it's just far out or something. Like I would like that. Something simple. Something simple. Not this. Although I do really love this. Just different. Cause like, I don't know, I've been in the city for like 7 years now, and I love it. I love the fact of like community, right? You get to like see everybody every day that you know, and you could like go to like certain stores and they just know you. But I feel like you could get that anywhere. And then it's just like the fact that there's so much to do here. But even then again, did I really use up did I use that to the fullest potential of me when I was actually living like more in the past? Do you get what I'm saying? Like, did I appreciate all of this to the most of that I could? I think so. I think I used it specifically in order to get myself in order and figure out who I am as a person. But totally could have checked out other places. I always have a bit of a FOMO about like checking out spots that I haven't checked out before. But then again, I'd actually have to feel the urge to go out and do them. So I think that's where I kind of like get sentimental and like attached to this place. Is with the people and just like the things I haven't done yet. But I don't know. There's also like this underlying feeling of like something else or like the other, or just wanting something different. I'm not very good at picking one thing. But yeah, I don't know. I just find it very interesting to look back on those things, especially because it's something that I am being not told to or forced to. It's just like things in my life right now are very much in the sense of like think forward and like think about what you plan to do with your future, and it's just like, oh, so confusing. Especially when you like the amount of work that I've put in here alone has kind of like fucked me over in a way. That it's just like, what do I even want? All I know is that I can't, like, what I want is that I want a job where I'm not getting fucked over by the people who run it. Or, although I can't be mad at the fact that it happened, because I learned so much from it. I think I learned more about business than even going to business school throughout 3 years of working for people who don't know how to run a business. And you just pick up it up on the fly, and you start to realize, like, oh, that's what you're not supposed to do, so you learn the other way around. Not saying that they're bad people, and they are good in their own lane. It's just sometimes, you know, you see somebody, or you, like, work with somebody who's kind of, like, wants to control everything, but having no idea how to move forward with it. And then when you try to create suggestions or like help build up a business for somebody, they will totally, if they personally don't know how to hold it, that work and like that type of effort being put in, it will plummet again. And then like, what's the point of building it for somebody if they themselves are trying to plummet it? I don't know. That's when I always get frustrated with the past few jobs that I've done, and like the past few owners or business people that I've worked for who run businesses. And they're both in two different types of business too. It was like completely different types of jobs. One was a tech job, and then the other one was what's it called? Like a bar job. And it's just like, I don't know. It's really interesting. And they're great people. It's just more so like sometimes we just don't know. And also some people are not willing to ask for help, especially when you're on the higher end, like the higher portions or the higher positioning. Or they just tend to use you, like the last one I went to, they tend to just use you for like whatever their own self-gain is. And then immediately when you can't offer them what they want, they'll just completely wreck you. So, yeah. That's all I've been learning with life. Is that if you've been consistently working since you were probably 12, and you're learning under like people who is giving you this way of learning, like experience, it's like something you have to be incredibly grateful for, because it's hard to find good experience, but it's also hard to like understand that while you're in the moment of a job, that is already giving you an experience, but you just don't realize what kind of experience it's giving you. I think that comes from the fact that we tend to be quite singular. I think that like nowadays we're learning a lot more of how to like MacGyver things and learn in our own way, but we tend to forget to like take everything that is coming at us as like a learning lesson in a way, and also something that is teaching you. And there's like that saying of like the teacher comes when you need it, like when you, every time you're like going into something, how do I explain it, whenever you go into something or when you meet a certain person that just stays in your life or is kind of like making you think differently, or even just irritating you a bit, you can understand that the irritation comes from the fact that like that person is maybe teaching you something in some way and you're just not used to it, right? Your ego is not used to being taught in a different way. So then I think people tend to forget, because we live in a world where we just want to like gain our own thing and like really stay on our boundaries, but also our boundaries can be incredibly closing. I don't know, it's just like you tend to forget that those little moments, even good, bad, while you're working at these places, you could take it as an opportunity, or you could take it as a waste of time. And I just choose to take it as an opportunity of constantly learning new things and taking it into my own my own sort of backlog of many different skills, and it just kind of like molds into like one big thing. So really at the end of the day, you just have to like learn to take it for what it is. And I will say that I am no better in the sense of like, I would go to these jobs and I'd be upset with whatever was happening, because sometimes I did feel like I was a little overqualified for things, and also I felt like I wasn't being respected. And those are things that you must be paying attention to when you're working. But also when you're stuck in a situation of the job, or like you're put in this place of a job and you can't like move forward. That happened with my second last job. For so long I was like applying to things and I was like stuck for a while and I couldn't apply, so I just stayed there. And I was getting angry because I was like, why am I here? Why? But then at the end of the day, those moments have taught me so much about what it is at running like a business, but in the sense of like not the logistics per se, but more of the marketing and like more of the like promotion, marketing, understanding how to move forward to create more clientele, like those types of things. And then like my recent job taught me more about like the logistics and like the numbers and how to like create online business and making sure that everything is run smoothly. Those kind of things. You kind of just learn, and also like how to treat people, and like learn that most bosses don't actually know how to be a boss. They just have that job because they were maybe given it, they created themselves, but they don't know how to be a leader. And with that, you can learn about like the do's and don'ts of what leadership is. I think I'm really grateful in the sense because I learned leadership at a very young age, but it's a hard skill to learn. And you also have to be very mindful and gentle in a sense of making sure that these people are not, like your boss is not being called out for these things. Well, they can be called out, but more so just so you can't be hateful towards them just because they don't know what they're doing. But also you need to understand when it's time to walk away when they aren't taking your advice, they just take it as a criticism. And I think that just comes from the fact that a lot of people don't understand how to take criticism, and that's another skill that has to be learned. We don't do that anymore because we have kind of like fed people things. Like we could look at the fact of the children who everyone gets a trophy sort of idea, which is fine, that's good, but when you give everybody a trophy, are they really learning anything by it? And as people, we can't always like sugarcoat everything in order to make a sense of stability. Like I think stability doesn't come from that. Stability comes from something completely different, and I think people forget that. And I think people are too afraid that they're gonna mess up a kid so that they don't do this type of exposure. But then again, how else do you grow a certain like strength if not from a younger age? And that's why I'm so concerned about Gen Z, even though I am a Gen Z, but I'm like an older Gen Z. But those people are scary. Not that that's a bad thing. That's not a bad thing. I respect them because I am one, but I'm one of the older ones. But yes, they are a little bit scary. They come on really strong. And I don't know. And they tend to take a lot. I don't know how to explain it. They just like don't understand certain ways of learning and like how you can actually benefit from not always getting exactly what you want. But people don't realize that. Although I think that's just a common thing. A lot of people just think that like they can get whatever they want, but that's not true. Anyways, that was my tangent. I'm just waiting for this to end. It's 20 minutes. 20 minutes of the pie. Ugh. But yeah, and who to say I am better? Because I don't think I'm better. I don't think I'm better in any way. But, yeah, I don't know. It's weird. But it's a cool way of looking at it. We just need to learn how to give people criticism without also saying that they're a terrible person. And then they'll learn more from it instead of being like so crazy about it. Yeah. And I can only say that because like I grew up with a criticism. I think we all do a little, but differently. And I am an artist, and I've always like been doing showcasing in many different ways. And when you are an artist, you're constantly criticized, but it's more of like knowing the right people that do it and understand that like it's not about you, it's just about the practice itself. Now I'm getting like dry throat. What I mean to say is like as a musician, because I used to be a musician, growing up as a musician and learning, it's such a specific type of skill set and it's very disciplined. So without criticism, you will have no idea if you're doing it right or wrong. And it's good to have. It's just a lot of people don't know how to handle it. Or like when I was in school and like I was doing film, that's constantly criticized. Everyone's gonna have an opinion based off of your art, and that's the point of art. Everyone's gonna have their own sense of belief or the way that they see it, the way they interact with it. Like it's always going to be different. So you kind of just have to take it with a grain of salt and understanding that your own art is good as is, but also understand like some people are really there to help you. Professors are there to help you most of the time. Actually, I say that my professors were there, and I was going to say most of the time because I was like, oh, well, there was this one professor that did not. But I disagree with myself because it was like he was teaching us like the real skill set of criticism, and also like in a way it was pretty messed up because he was just weeding out people for like the final years. But if we didn't have that, there would have been a whole different scenario. So many people in that cohort, there would be no way to get any of it done. And also like learning what he was saying and take it to account, and also being able to be like, no, you're wrong and you don't get it. That's also helpful because you're like learning how to stand up and like talk back and debate it in a way as well. So I was gonna say that like only half, but I think at the end of the day they were all kind of like a given, and they were all good. They were all good. Even if it didn't seem good, it was good. But yeah, I don't know. I get really confused by that. I don't know if that actually helps anybody, but yeah. Those are just thoughts that I think about sometimes. So when we go back to cooking, it's good to try it with other people so then you can understand if it's good or not. Because even though you might have a certain appetite, does that mean that everyone is going to match your appetite? No. And are going to match your type of favorite like tastes or like different seasonings? No. So it's good to always have like a second opinion. Okay, I'll be back in a minute. You stay here, you hang out, I'll be back in 1 minute. Okay. Is such a mess right now, but for a good reason. It just has to heal again, and then it'll be messed up again. But yeah, I don't know. I was gonna keep this going, but I really don't know if I want to keep it going. But I hope somebody took something out of that. If anybody watches, it is a very interesting take. And who knows, maybe somebody will learn from it. Let's hope. Alright. Have a good one. I will post this on my gonna post this on my Instagram for when it's done. It's just taking forever. But yeah, thanks for hanging out. Bye.